Oh, shit. The mic was... It's fine. Welcome, Fantasy Balls team managers, to the Week 18 recap. I do have a script here in front of me. I typed it on an iPad. I get an iPad for work. I was sitting at a table all day, didn't really have much to do, so I typed this. So you won't hear papers, but I do have a script. You might hear River eating his dinner in the background, but that's about it. Okay, we're all caught up. Before we get into our baseball recap, we are 20 days away from our fantasy football draft for the 2023 season. I have not determined the draft order selection process, but I would like to do some kind of method where we all participate somehow. I remember last year we did the 100-yard dash. That was really just me typing in stuff and seeing what came up. At that point, might as well just do random order. I think it'll be more fun as a league if we all partake. I've been talking with my hands a lot recently, as if I'm Italian, and I'm not at all. Oh, there he is. Anyway, right now my leading methods would either be a test created by my friend, who is an English teacher. I already asked. She said she would do it. And she was like, what kind of test? And I was literally like, anything. Just make something up. And she was like, okay. So she would do it. Or, if not that, an online poker tournament. We wouldn't be using money. We'd just be playing against ourselves. I'd find some app to do it. So those are my leading two options. If anybody has any suggestions, please share them with me. Finally, dues must be paid a week before the draft, as approved by league vote in the offseason. You guys can bitch and moan all you want. That got passed with flying colors. If not paid, you risk being removed from the league. I said last and then wrote furthermore. Interesting. Considering doing another league vote in the coming days for any last minute rules before starting the real fantasy season. I know we all may enjoy fantasy baseball and we have our fun, but we all know that fantasy football is the real prize, so keep an eye out for that. I already started typing it up a little bit. And please submit any potential rule changes or rule proposals to the league office as soon as possible. With that all being said, now let's get into it. If you all remember, we had 2 games of the week this week. I know, crazy that the league office did that, but honestly it made sense. With all 4 league leaders in scoring going head-to-head, and the top 2 teams from each division going head-to-head with each other, it just felt appropriate. So, battle for the number 1 seeds. Here we go. Team Wallach went head-to-head with the backup bullpen catchers, who, despite being on a win streak heading into the matchup, have been struggling to put up points the last few weeks. And even though the BBC were able to score a decent amount of points this time around, they were still unable to keep up with the Wallachs, who just... Great game. Great game by Griff. BBC and Team Wallach are now tied with a record of 12-5-1, which is super annoying. But with just 2 weeks left in the season, and Team Wallach having control of the head-to-head matchup because of this last game, Griff and I only played each other twice this year. One was the tie game, and then this week where he just beat me. So he now controls the head-to-head matchup. So he currently holds the number 1 seed and the first round bye. In the Long Island division, the Big Bruisers and PED Users look to fight back into contention for the number 1 seed against the placeholder, but were unequivocally shut down. Jesus Christ, Cam. The placeholders won this matchup by just over 200 points, cementing themselves as the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. Being 3 games ahead of the Bruisers, with just 2 weeks left, placeholders could now rest their starters and begin prepping for the playoffs if they want. They got the number 1 seed locked down. No question about it. But Big Bruisers and PD Users are now on a 3-game losing streak and have still yet to clinch their playoff spot. and in fact have started to drop their playoff probability and now only have an 83% chance. I believe last week they were at like 98%, or maybe 2 weeks ago, 98%, down to 83% chance to make the playoffs this year. And we will certainly be keeping a close eye on the playoff race, as there are only 3 spots that have been clinched, meaning that there are still 3 available. Only 1 top seed has been clinched as well, so still lots of different possibilities that could happen in the last 2 weeks of this season. We move now to Team Sternly, who is so close to a playoff spot they can practically taste it. Kind of gross. What does a playoff spot taste like? It really sucks when I try to make a joke, even if it's not funny, and I stumble over it. Just ruins the delivery completely. So that's a pain. Anyway, in the rubber match of their rivalry, Team Sternly was able to show the Clubhouse Space Cadets who runs the house, because remember, they live together, and take the season series 2-1. Team Sternly now has a 99% chance of making the playoffs and is sitting pretty at 11-7. While a 99% chance of making the playoffs can lull a team into a false sense of security, as we are seeing with the Bruisers. We will see if the Sternly players can keep their heads in the game. Weird pause. What the fuck's going on with it? It was moving today. It was a long day. Even though I had time to type this, still a long day. See if they can keep their heads in the game and make that final push for the playoffs, and potentially the number 1 seed. If all goes well for them, it is still possible for Sternly to leapfrog the top 2 teams in the division and become top dog. But they would need some help along the way, and Sternly's don't have... Oh, I spelled Sternly's wrong there. Did I? Yeah, I did. I put an A in it. That's weird. Why would I do that? That's the only spot I did that. But the Sternleys don't have a cakewalk for their last 2 matchups, facing the 3rd and 4th highest scoring teams on the year. While on the other side of the matchup, that was the end of the Sternly thing. Now we're moving to Chumba. I remember I went back and typed this, so that's why it didn't flow well. Anyway. While, on the other side of this matchup, there's a manager who is harboring and protecting a predator on their roster. This kind of behavior really makes you wonder, where do Chumba's priorities stand? Is he also a predator? Why else would he protect this monster? While the league office continues its investigation into the matter, team manager Chumba is currently under investigation, as well as his players, and will be suspended from receiving any wages from the league until this investigation is complete. Chumba just texted me. What the fuck did he say? Talking about teacher stuff. Ignore it. Sometimes he just sends me updates about his week in fantasy, so I might have added it if it were something like that, but I guess not. Anyway, our next team fighting to make a playoff spot also got the win this week to keep their postseason hopes afloat, as the Lazy Team Names took on the Drippy Droppers. In this low-scoring affair, the Lazy Team Names... This low-scoring affair gives the Lazy Team Names a 50-50 shot to make the postseason. River, I am talking, you son of a bitch. I'm kidding, buddy. That's mean. I'm sorry. There's a lot going on. I'm getting group chats blowing up about black guy with a small dick. Why did I say that in this? This low-scoring affair gave Lazy Team Names a 50-50 shot to make the postseason. While sitting at 9-9 and being tied with Team Badussi, Lazy Team Names have a tougher path to victory, and therefore are the true wild card when it comes to who might make the postseason. I'm getting very frustrated with this. I think I'm not going to type this on an iPad again, because it's pretty small text. I could have made it bigger, but I keep losing my... whatever. Where was I? Lazy Team Names have a tougher path to victory, and therefore the wild card. I just said that. At this At times this season, lazy team names have appeared to be a dangerous team, and at other times they've just fallen short of the mark. So, they are the team to watch going forward for the playoff push. Can they do it? Can they not? Guess we're going to find out. Finally, we end up on the team born from disappointment. Once again, Juice Balls fails to make an impact in the win column. At this point, it's not really even worth commenting on GM Cornobus and the things he's done with this team all season. I did the math earlier. I wrote it down and I left it and I didn't put it in here. Though the Long Island division has stepped its game up, the overall win percentage of the divisions is still separated by over 200 points because John's .09 win percentage pulls the division down so much. It's the division as a whole has like a .36 something, when the Upstate division has like a .52 something, right? So still a big gap there, all because of Johnny K. But league office has begun discussions of what to do if this fielding of non-competitive teams continues into the football season. There's 2 seasons in a row where John just missed the mark. And as a league, we have to do something. We have to think about potential to do. Conversations have begun to take place, but no action will be taken at this time against Cornobus. But ideas have begun to swirl. With all that being said, Team Badussi walked away with a 100-point victory against Juiced Balls. Team Badussi continues to forge their playoff path, now with a 67% chance to make the playoffs. Of the 5 teams still in postseason contention, basically 4 because Chumba only has a 1% chance. The Badussis are the 3rd highest to get a spot in terms of ESPN probability, with 3 spots left to be clinched. They could just sneak in ahead of Lazy Team Name for the final spot. So that is something to keep an eye on. Lots of playoff race going on. I'm at 12 minutes already. Good thing we're at the closing. I did some football stuff in here, so it's fine. I usually eat around 10 minutes. Looking ahead, we have a game of the week to pick. And wouldn't you know it, the perfect matchup. It really is. As a reminder, playoff seeding does not take division into account. The division winners both get a bye into the playoffs, but after that, it's anybody's game. Even the number 1 seed doesn't matter. Like, it's not technically we're counting it as number 1, but like if Griff and Cam went head to head, Cameron would be the number 1 and Griff would be the 2, according to ESPN. So, because Cameron's in the lead right now. With that being said, we have 2 teams fighting for a spot. Both teams towards the top of their division, and wouldn't you know it, Big Bruisers and PED users once again being put in the spotlight. Honestly, don't know how they ended up in the game of the week so many times this season. I guess they had a tough schedule, and somehow they've just managed to keep winning and keep a competitive record. Big Bruisers and PED users once again game of the week as they take on Team Sternly for a collision of big playoff teams trying to cement their spot. That is the Week 18 update, gents. Just 2 regular season matchups before we start baseball playoffs, and right around the corner from fantasy football, which, as we all know, is the real prize. So we will catch you next week with the Week 19. Good luck to all those teams working for a playoff spot. We'll catch you next week.